What up, guys? To We Don't Know Ball. Another basketball episode post All Star break. It's a shortened NBA week, but it's more of a lot of the NBA politics and new rules changes or future rule changes that we'll talk about. We'll talk about a few games and obviously have our games at the end, but more interesting, more nuanced talks for this week. But before we get into it, again, I'm Jules. This is Justin and Retro. How are you guys doing before we get into our politicking, I guess, for today's episode?
All right. Well, from the actual hockey fan, it's Canadian Tears and Freebird for 4 years, boys. Um, um, so-called juggernauts, so-called this, so-called that, so-called best player in the world, best rookie ever, best this, best that. Looks real nice engraved on the back of your silver medal. Fuck Canada. Fuck you guys. Fuck Cale Makar. I'd like to give the thank you to the real tournament MVP, Sidney Crosby, for being injured the last 2 games of Canada's tournament and not playing. Because he just perennially owns the U.S. when it comes down to big-time decisions, big-time moments. There will be no golden goal for you this year. You can cry into your silver medal on the way home, too. God, it's a great day to be an American, and I'll tell you this right now, the way America has bonded behind this is giving me, like, flashbacks to, because I do the historian side of hockey, is giving me flashbacks to the way that the world treated this game when it was the U.S. versus Russia back in 1980 at Lake Placid. The whole country was standing on edge. Nobody wanted Canada to win another one. It was our time. Everyone talked about this is the best Canadian team ever assembled, this, that, and the other. Best American team ever assembled, and we proved it. Fly high, Freebird.
Our goalie is the GOAT. I love you. Thank you.
You still can't say his last name, so I'm okay with it.
Hellebuck.
Hey, look at you. It only took you 8 tries.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, back to basketball.
I'm not the hockey guy, but
I'm telling you right now,
WSN.
like I said, I'm still coming down off the high. I mean, that shit happened. That game started at 7 in the morning. I was up from the time I got off work at 4 a.m., watched it all the way through. My videos, I'm telling you, I would calm down to do justice to the video because, my God, dude, I'm telling you, that goal went in. I screamed. There were tears. It was about time we beat Canada, and it couldn't have been more poetic. On the 46th anniversary of the Lake Placid games, Johnny Gaudreau's tragic passing earlier in the year that he couldn't be a part of the team. Like, it all culminated, and they were playing for something bigger than just a gold medal that day. So I can't be more proud of those men that flew the stars and stripes on their jerseys and played their fucking hearts out. So fuck yeah, America. Fuck Canada.
Yeah. Yeah, stupid Canucks. Yeah.
So to my international audience, I'm sorry if you're Canadian.
Every other country we're good with. Canada, tears.
Yeah, true. And speaking of, sorry, Slovakia. We did not have to do you like that. I apologize. It was part of the mission. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's about as bad as Canada. It's about as bad as Canada did Italy in 10-2 in the fucking play-in. Yikes! In their home country, that's just not right.
All right, Jim.
So with today, when I was talking about the politicking at the beginning of the episode, it was more of what came out of the NBA side when it comes to the future or the potential future rule changes when it comes to anti-tanking as well as expansion, the inevitability of expanding. I think expansion is kind of a shorter topic, so we're going to hit that first. The 2 teams that looks like is the head rollers are going to have teams. My team, technically, the Supersonics, are inevitably going to return. Las Vegas, because their market is going to have a team, it looks like, and they're thinking about moving one of the Western teams to the Eastern Conference, and inevitably having another expansion draft. So my question is, out of the teams, obviously out of the teams that we have now, what are some of these players that aren't going to be held on for the expansion draft when inevitably Vegas and Seattle become teams?
I have a question real quick because I'm just curious. When he comes back, or not when he comes back, when they come back, the Supersonics, are you gonna are they just gonna be like your second favorite team, or like how is that gonna work?
I've talked about this vocally before. Like I because I was super young, I only watched one season and not even a full season of the Sonics. But because Seattle has been my team with everybody else, people who watch the football side of things, you guys know I'm a Hawks fan. They'll be my second team because San Antonio has been my team for a long time.
Yeah, so like the Wizards are to me with the Bulls. I got you.
Yeah. So I'll push for Sonic stuff. It's just what sucks is that the Thunder aren't going to give the history back to the Sonics. So it's going to be inevitably just a completely new team with no history. But we all know Seattle and the history behind them. And Sonics fans, true Sonics fans, will all inevitably take that history from the Thunder and just bring it back. But the Thunder aren't going to give them back.
Like, that's just where it's at. Seattle walked so OKC could run. And that's
so the Thunder should be forced to give them SGA as their one player in the draft.
Well, you know what's funny, because why I framed, like, going back to my question, because I had this on. I asked our other host Gunnar, not you, Retro, about this funny about this thing.
All right, yeah, it's a dead meme.
I think it's very much alive.
Move on.
I asked this because of the conversations we're having about this certain franchise player for a small market team. Because he's actually from Seattle. Is there a possibility that in an expansion draft that the Magic don't hang on to Paulo and they hang on to Franz?
Well, how many players can you protect in an expansion draft?
No, it's 8.
Oh yeah, so they're gonna hold on to Paulo then. Yeah.
That's the thing is, like, I think that they are right. I'm totally with that. But with the conversations of what he's been through, and I don't know if they're going to fire Jamal, which I think that they should. I don't put it out of the question. Like, it would be, and for a team being expanded to a new, like, with no history and all this kind of stuff, a person who is from there, like a Derrick Rose when he came out in the draft to Chicago, Paulo being from Seattle, like, I think the NBA, if it is a business, could inevitably pull strings and be like, don't hold on to Paulo and bring him to Seattle.
Would the only reason outside of like NBA collusion I could see is like, I don't know, maybe the Magic are like, I don't know, his contract situation, whatever. We just don't really want to deal with that, so we'll let him go. And I could see that. I could see that being the case. But like, would it be how it works is if he gets picked in the expansion draft, they just no longer have to worry about, there's no like dead cap, there's no salary. It's just like it's all gone and that team just picks it up.
Correct. Yeah. And depending on the payroll of the new teams, they would have to allocate that percentage cap to whatever that they have. I'm assuming it's not going to be a lot, so like Paulo could be taking almost like 40% of their cap. But that's the nuance of, like, we just don't know yet. But it could be a possibility. Again, that was the first thing that I thought of, because like Paulo, if you follow him on Twitter and you've seen him going back to Seattle, repping Sonic stuff, he reps Seattle Storm shit all the time. He has a Kraken jersey, like he loves Seattle. So I would not put that out of the question. And well, even if he doesn't get in an expansion draft, if he gets traded, he could be in Seattle.
That makes for a lot of interesting situations, just in that, like, a lot of teams could use this as a way to dump cap on players that they don't necessarily like want to keep for whatever reason. I know that, and I feel bad for him because his name constantly gets brought up, but like J-Dub is a player that a lot of people think the Thunder might be on the ropes about, maybe, and that could be a way. And honestly, would kind of be fitting for a Thunder player to, like, of that caliber to go to the Supersonics. That would kind of be, that I joked about Shea, but if you can't get Shea, J-Dub's a pretty good option.
Yeah, it's it's similar to what happened in the 90s expansion when they expanded again and got the Heat and the Magic. Is that a lot of the valuable role players on like the championship and like the contenders that were looking to get a payday were unfortunately not held on to. Like a Rick Mahorn brings like a best example because Mahorn was about to get paid after that second championship with the Pistons, and he inevitably just wasn't held on to. Same thing with like a John Sally, and like I know John Sally isn't great, but like that's another valuable role player on a championship team. So there's a lot of different teams where there's just a possibility. Again, that was my first thing because being a Seattle guy. I know that Paulo is from Seattle, so I don't rule that out of the question. Justin, what are your thoughts about expansion overall?
Jason Wallace, you are a Seattle Supersonic.
That's not a bad pickup. Kaysen would be great as a starting PG.
I don't know. I mean, expansion's good for the sport. And like I said, again, being the hockey guy, we've had 2 expansions in the last 7 years, adding the Vegas Golden Knights and the Seattle Kraken. And the Kraken haven't been, well, actually, the Golden Knights, the Kraken, and now the Utah Mammoth. So 3 teams, sorry.
And the Golden Knights have been really good, right?
The Golden Knights actually almost won the cup in their first year.
Yeah,
first year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wait, didn't they play against my boys, the Capitals?
Yeah.
If I remember correctly? Yeah.
Yeah.
So expansion's good for the sport to continue the growth, get more teams, and crazy enough, I'm all for expansion for this situation for the simple fact that we've talked about how oversaturated the league is for so long that once these guys start keeping these, this is actually going to be insane because with Silver's new draft rules on top of the way trade deadlines and free agencies work, this is going to open cap for teams, but this is also going to put them in cap hell because they're going to start, oh, well, we just let all this money go and this guy's got a contract next year. Oh, we can afford to give him a little bit more money. So you're going to see the influx of contracts go up because they have money to spend. So you're going to see guys making ungodly money and taking up, like you said, 40, 50% of teams' equity.
And guys will demand more money because they know that team has more cap. So they have more leverage. They can be like, listen, you're going to have to give me something insane to keep me here.
So, like I said, me looking at it and me thinking, like, okay, so it's 2 full teams of 13-ish guys that have to get drafted out of these, 28 teams, 29 teams we have? So you're going to move a team from the west to the east. Don't know who that's going to be yet. We'll see how the fuck that develops. On top of that, you're going to see teams protecting 8 players, which I think is just way too fucking many to begin with. But it's going to be interesting to see what these role players are going to get their shot on. Because it's going to be, sorry to say this, Jules, but it's going to be guys like Josh Primo type guys that got these rookie contracts and either didn't pan out or had trouble with something. Those are going to be the guys that attract these other teams, like a Kevin Porter Jr. with Milwaukee right now. Milwaukee will protect him, but I'm talking about these guys who were rookies that didn't pan out. By the time this all goes down, you might see guys like Ace Bailey, Nikola Jovic, Nikola Topic. Like, you might see these guys that were drafted off of high caliber that are like, oh shit, these guys might do something. And if they didn't do anything or weren't top 3 in their rookie class,
you're going somewhere.
And the thing is, as far as expansion is concerned, God knows Adam Silver needs a W because, my goodness, this is like the easiest slam dunk W of all time. Everybody wants the Supersonics to come back. And it feels like Vegas is kind of just getting expansion teams everywhere. Obviously, the Oakland Raiders are Las Vegas Raiders. You've got the Golden Knights in hockey. It just kind of makes sense to continue with the Vegas trend.
They got the Oakland Athletics moving there.
Yeah, right. So it's like, and shout out Oakland. I'm so sorry that you guys. I feel really.
No,
bad.
your city is a poverty piece of shit, and your governor is terrible. Therefore, this is why this happened.
Yeah.
But as far as this is concerned, just like I think that this is just so easy. This is just an easy W. If you're Adam Silver, you take them when you can get because he is a moron, and this is easy. So
Yeah.
I think this is a good thing. It'll be good for basketball.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's the same thing as the NFL with the Gary Grizzlies expansion this year.
Literally. And
I
it's
will
funny you.
say, as I was gonna say, Jules, real quick. As one other thing, I think it might be a good idea to have an expansion team in Virginia Beach. A lot of people have said that it would be cool to have a team in Virginia. This isn't even like a Virginia bias thing. I would still like the Wizards, but I'm just saying, and the Bulls. But as far as this is concerned, I just think that because there are so many great players that are from that area, I think that it would make sense to have a team there. And I've seen
Yes, because there's not enough teams wrapped up in the East Coast.
I'm just saying it would be cool.
Well, it's funny you said Grizzlies, because that's one of the two teams
And they
that
asked
is.
back to Vancouver.
That's one of the two teams that is heavily in contention for moving to the East. Is Memphis just geographically is closer to the East Coast than it is the West Coast. The other team is the Timberwolves, but I just don't think that Minnesota will let that happen. So I think it'll probably be Memphis.
If I'm Minnesota, I'm letting that happen because they're running.
I think it should be. It should be Grizzlies. Like
that's what I was gonna say. Is that Minnesota has a better yes, let us go to the East and just run the East because it's gonna be us.
Well, the
Boston
thing is, like
and Indiana.
Any team in the West that gets picked to leave the West is going to be happy about it. Or they should be. Because it's like, oh, okay, well, the East got some good teams.
Memphis will jump up one spot in the rankings.
To be honest with you, I think Memphis would be a pretty solid team. They'd be like, okay. Like, I think that it would be like,
they would be no better than the Chicago Bulls.
I disagree with that. I don't think so. At least they don't have 10,000 guards. I mean, like, they might be...
Minnesota has 10,000
10,000
guards. It makes sense.
Yeah. Jules.
What? They have 10,000 Glocks. What? Am I wrong? Shout out IG. No. I think that Memphis is probably going to be the team. And again, geographically, it makes sense. So, hopefully, if this does happen again, that would be another slam dunk. That would be great for the NBA in general. And like you said, with the low end talent on these teams, because of the oversaturation, it's going to be very easy to get the talent that isn't held on to. Because there's going to be people who are wanting money who teams are just going to be like, yeah, no, like you said, like a Carson Wallace or even like a Jared McCain and Nikola Jovic. Like, there's going to be a whole bunch of players that have value that could just be starters on expansion teams. I'm totally with that. But we'll move on. The more the bigger picture stuff that I wanted to sink our teeth into is the anti-tanking stuff. That it came out from Shams and the NBA and the GM board with Adam Silver in January, that ultimately is going to fuck over a lot of teams. I wanted to get your guys' opinion on it. So, essentially, to sum up what was said in these GM meetings, a few things. They wanted to avoid tanking. They wanted to freeze draft odds at All-Star break and make a totality of what they have, like the odds, freeze and make it more total record. But the record is going to be over 2 years instead of just the year. So if you're bad for 1 year and decent the other year, it's going to be you have a less draft odd than somebody who's been in purgatory for 2 years.
Which, to be clear, would make you want to tank even more. Because It's like, well, now I've got to tank for 2 years straight. It is what it is.
Yeah. So, well, that's the other thing is to combat that is that if you're bottom 3 in your conference or bottom 3 in the league, you're not allowed to have a top 4 draft pick consecutive years. So if you're tanking for 1 year, you have to be competitive or at least not a bottom 3 team the very next year. And then the inverse of that is if you're a top 3 team making conference finals, you can't get a top 4 pick in the draft ongoing, as well as being able to not trade top 4 to top 10 protected lottery picks anymore. It's now top 4 to top 14, so that range is now a little bit wider.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Here is a revolutionary idea of how to deal with this problem. What you could do is the worst team in the league gets the number 1 overall pick. The second worst team gets the number 2 overall pick, and you do that all the way down. It's a pretty crazy thing. Nobody's ever tried this before. That might be the best option instead of a draft lottery.
You know what the one good thing that comes out of this is?
What's that?
It's going to make the draft so much more watchable because we are going to see so many draft night trades now. Because they can't trade to get that pick, but they sure as hell can trade for that player once he's picked.
Yep, absolutely.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest, okay, and nobody's gonna want to say it. I'll say it. The reason why they refuse to instate a normal draft like every other league is because they rigged the lottery, and because of that, they don't want to switch to a system in which they can't rig, and that's why they won't do it. It isn't it because the reason they started the draft lottery was so they could put Patrick Ewing on the Knicks. That's the reason they started it, and now they can't look bad, so they have to just keep it going.
Well, on top of the fact that we just talked about expansion, I believe that there's going to be more than 2 rounds. I think they're going to have to go to like 5 or 6 round format, involving way more international players. And then the fact that they're trying to flatten the odds out of all the lottery teams, that now forgoes. If people were all the conspiracy theory about the rigging the system, it now can confirm it. Because let's just say, the Wizards, the Kings, the Chicago Bulls, whatever, in this year's draft lottery, it all have the same amount of odds. Why wouldn't the NBA just say, oh, yeah, the Chicago Bulls haven't been good since Derrick Rose and Michael Jordan? AJ DeBonza, there you go. You have an even chance so it could be just the worst situation possible, and that team gets the generational talent.
Because they don't want to put him through another Derrick Rose situation.
Well, that's the thing. I know that it's I know that they're like my team, but the thing is, like, they would want Chicago to be good. Like, the league wants teams that have bigger markets.
Nobody wants Chicago to be good except Bulls.
The league does. Whether or not, like, the fans do, the league does. Chicago brings in money. Like, when Chicago's good, Chicago brings in money, and the league knows that. Like, it was very prevalent when they had guys like a Derrick Rose or Michael Jordan. Like, it was very prevalent when the Bulls were good, they were making money. So the league, it would be in their better interest to do that.
To be fair, I think all their sellout games this year were when they honored Derrick Rose. So
yeah, exactly. It's like the NBA would love to give Chicago their
shout out for
yeah, we love Rose, man.
But yeah, no, I'm in turns with this. I've said this that if a team is just in a worse situation and they need a generational talent and literally all the odds are equal, it wouldn't put it past the NBA to be like, oh yeah, the Kings haven't had anybody since fucking Chris Webber. AJ DeBonza. Caleb Wilson.
I don't know if they'll give the Kings.
No, for sure. I'm just saying, like, worse situation, and that they need to, a franchise that is struggling and that kind of stuff. Like, that's more of my point. But yeah, I agree. The Kings suck. Sorry.
Here's my opinion on the worst part of this, though, is we already have an influx of asshole greedy kids that play in the NCAA that stay too many fucking years because they're making too much money on NIL.
Or that refuse to play basketball, Darren Peterson.
So now we're going to be at a point where, oh, cool. So now they can watch these odds in real time before they have to make a decision and be like, yeah, you know what? I can be a 7th-year senior and go play. I can be a G League dropout. I can do all these things to prevent going to these teams that aren't going to be in the situation. But then again, if you're saying these certain teams can't have a top 4 pick in consecutive years, so what? Again, like we talked about, what happens when a team is just already in a generationally bad? The Kings, for instance, like you brought up, the Kings are in a generational hellhole right now. They have nothing but veterans, no promising rookies, no nothing. They get a 1st overall pick this year. Okay, cool. You're not getting a 1st overall pick next year. You're not getting a top 4 pick next year. So how am I supposed to pair this guy with anybody without blowing up my team or spending $1 billion that I don't have?
Justin, thank you for saying that, because this is what I was trying to say to other people, is that if you're in purgatory, again, we'll just use the Kings as an example. Again, sorry for you 3 Kings fans that we know. But if you're generationally bad
Not that we know any is unbelievable.
at drafting and evaluating talent, you're going to forever be at the bottom unless you are able to somehow get a generational talent every other year. So it's like you can be at best a top 5 team, which there's plenty of people who are like the 5th pick in the draft that end up working out. That's fine. But it's going to be significantly harder for these bad teams to be able to build themselves up without being a bottom 3 set.
And think about how mad. Okay, think about how mad the fan will be of. Well, okay, let's say the Kings, right? I know we keep using the Kings. We're gonna use the Kings again. Let's say you're the Kings. You get a top 3 pick this draft. Let's just say it doesn't pan out, right? And now, normally, you could be like, okay, well, next year, listen, maybe there's another prospect we can go get a hold of, somebody that's great. Now you can't anymore. So then you watch the team that has the pick that you were supposed to get, then they draft a player, and that guy becomes a generational talent. As a fan of the Kings, you're like, what are we can't even do anything about that. There's nothing that we can do.
I feel like this makes bottom teams' first-round picks actually useless. So now they're going to go out and try to trade them for teams that are in good spots that they can take the gamble on actually landing a pick.
Well, this was what I was going to say, Justin, is that this benefits literally like all the play-in teams to like the 5 to 6 seed in each conference. This helps them the most because they're literally the definition of mid, and this helps them eventually in the future because now like if this doesn't pan out, and let's just say we bottom out for 1 year, and let's just say it's a fluky year, we're just bad 1 year, and then they're coming roaring back with a generational talent. This immediately can perpetuate them to,
does this mean I'm going to get my picks back?
Hey, Jules.
No.
Hey, Jules, you know who you just described? The Chicago Bulls. Perennially mid, play-in team, have one fluke year where they're absolutely terrible, and then if we get lucky enough in this draft to get a great talent, we're just going to come right back.
No, for real. Does this mean I can get all my picks back?
No.
Does this mean we can finally get a top pick again and undo the fucking DeAndre Ayton pick?
This helps out this helps out the Eastern playing teams: Chicago, Atlanta,
Bulls,
Miami.
Yep,
this helps out them. So all the mid-tier teams are like they're jumping for joy because like, okay, we can finally get out of purgatory. But now on the flip again, to even advance this fucks over the top teams too. Because I was talking about this with because everybody getting on my high horse a little bit. I was on a rant a couple months ago about the OKC Thunder, where it's like they're predicating themselves on the draft, and they can just recycle talent year in and year out because of how many draft picks that they have from the Jazz and the Clippers and all this kind of stuff. And like, I completely understand. This fucks over Sam Presti more than anything else because now basically what they were banking on was getting top 3, top 4 picks year after year after year after year, and saying, after 5 years, goodbye J-Dub, goodbye Lou Dort, goodbye Carson Wallace, goodbye all these guys, and just getting the new fresh end talent to go on these runs. Now they have to do it literally every other year. And so the dynasty that the OKC was predicting has now heavily been hindered because of Adam Silver.
Yeah, well, and it's such an insane situation for the NBA to put them in. They're doing this weird thing where they're shrinking the upper class, they're shrinking the lower class, and they're just trying to like benefit the middle class. I don't know what this like goofy plan is, but it's just like
I honestly think
I don't know.
I honestly think I'll be completely transparent with it. I think this has nothing to do with tanking. I'm gonna be wholehearted with you. I think this has nothing to do with tanking. I think he sees a lot of big market teams that are stuck in the middle that could use this help. And he doesn't want to see a small market team in OKC go on a dynasty run because they're a small market.
He
doesn't want to see OKC play the Pacers. He doesn't want to see OKC play San Antonio in a final. Like, he'd rather see Denver go to. He doesn't want to see these medium to small market teams succeed. So he's ready to do whatever he can to bring Atlanta back to power, Miami back to power, or even Orlando would be technically. It's gonna, as much as the Knicks are succeeding right now, it's still gonna benefit the Knicks at some point. Boston. Like, it's going to benefit these teams that are big market teams because he's trying to make it a big market field because he thinks that's what's going to bring viewership back. Newsflash, Mr. Silver. Nothing is bringing viewership back because the game is dog shit. That is where we are at in the NBA now. The game is dog shit. We are oversaturated with really good players that are all on the same team, and we're watching an all-star game every night we see OKC play San Antonio. We're watching an all-star game when we see Jokic go out and drop 40, 20, 30 lines. Like, what do we... Nothing is going to fix this unless I swear to you, I've had this thought. It's going to have to go back to a 2K style thing. You're going to have to stop, and it's going to have to be a fantasy draft, and you're going to have to restart. If you want to bring viewership back, you got to level the playing field.
Well, and
before you go, Retro, I was going to say that it does benefit big market teams because this now directly affects free agency. Because now small market teams who predicate themselves on drafting and their scouting and all this kind of stuff, international and the NCAA, this helps big market teams because now if they can't, the small market teams can't get the generational talent year after year after year. These now the free agency class becomes way more valuable, and because bigger markets just have the money to allocate to these bigger guys, that ultimately this is going to help LA, Boston, Atlanta, Philly, New York, the Warriors. You know, everybody who has a big market, they inevitably they should be jumping for joy as well because now they can do that.
Philly might end up being a Warrior.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, as far as this is concerned, you kind of already mentioned it, but just to piggyback, you look at right now in the East, the 6 through 9 seeds is Philadelphia, Orlando, Miami, and Atlanta. All teams that the NBA would want to see do well. All teams that are big cities. Even Orlando, they're not like huge, but they're big enough. Miami's a big city. Atlanta's a big city. Philly's huge. And then like even Chicago is the current 12 seed. It's another big city they'd like to do well. And you're kind of just like, okay, yeah, we're gonna take all of you guys that are in this middle part. We'll raise you up. In the West, like if you're looking at the West, the Clippers, for example, are the 10 seed. I know that like the Clippers don't have a huge fan base because a lot of people love the Lakers, but they are in LA, right? And them being in LA alone means that they have a pretty big market. So that's something they'd like to do.
I'm also convinced there aren't Laker fans anymore. There's just Kobe Glazers.
Well, and here's the other thing, because this is something else that's very interesting. If you look, because Justin already talked about it, and Jules, I think you did too, but how it buries the lower teams. Look at the bottom 3 teams in the West. It's Utah, New Orleans, and Sacramento. If you don't think the NBA would love to bury all 3 of those teams in the ground permanently, they would. And this would be the perfect way to just keep all 3 of those teams as low as possible.
Not my Utah Jazz. Adam Silver, we can be the main event of the UFC event on the fucking White House lawn if that's what you want to do.
Right, well, and it's like, as far as the East is concerned, the bottom 3, they don't want Indiana to be good. They probably don't want Brooklyn to be good. Again, Brooklyn doesn't have a huge fan base because most people in New York that aren't from Brooklyn are Knicks fans. So it's like, okay, well, at that point, you can bury those 2 teams. DC hasn't had a big fan base since John Wall, and you can bury that. Like, there's a lot of things that you could do in one fell sweep here. But the problem is, and like you guys said, one thing that people really like to see is a team that is from a lower market to rise up and be good. It's fun to watch teams you don't typically see. Like, for example, the Pacers, when they went on that miracle run with Tyrese Halliburton, a lot of people thought it was really, really fun to watch that team.
The miracle run.
Well, you know, just no one thought that they were going to be able to get as far as they did, and they take that Thunder team that was historically good to 7 games. So, you know, it's like, and yeah, I'll credit where credit's due. But the point I'm making is just that, like, people like to see bad teams do well sometimes. No one wants to see a team get buried in the desert for a million years and then just never reemerge, especially teams.
Why do you say the desert?
I don't know. What do you mean?
Why are you talking about the desert?
Why they
gotta get buried in the desert?
Version.
I don't know what you're referring to. I don't know.
Leave my sons alone.
At least he didn't. Yeah, at least he didn't say the valley. Shit.
Yeah, that's actually that. No, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, you know.
Yeah, he's not extending a broken hand to the valley.
And as far as this is concerned, and I mean, you guys mentioned it before, but like, you know, Denver was a team that wasn't exactly looked upon as like a great franchise, and you know, Nikola Jokic. Well, and Jokic helps to like revitalize that team, and people like watching him play. And I feel like it's just like with this like they're gonna try to get as many bad teams as possible buried, and it's just gonna make it boring. Nobody wants to see the same teams. Everybody says that when the Warriors and Cavs were playing every year, people just got bored. Like people just didn't want to watch. It was just boring.
And that's the thing I wanted to touch on too. For you fucking casual fans that said peak basketball was the Cavs and the Warriors shut the fuck up. No, the fuck it wasn't, dog. You cared about the stars that were in there. Cool. Curry, LeBron, KD.
But it wasn't peak basketball.
Tristan Thompson.
Yeah, like this is what if you think that was peak basketball, that is disgusting. Now,
yeah.
I've been a huge predicator on parity in the league because I do like seeing other teams. I do like seeing different play styles. I do like seeing all the talent be able to get their grace when they are given. You bring up a good example with Indiana last year. Shout out Tyrese, shout out Pascal Siakam, shout out Rick Carlisle, very underrated players when it comes to like all-time talks and year-by-year basis and all this kind of stuff. That was fantastic. And again, like OKC prior to last year, Shea was emerging, Chet was emerging, even though he's injury-prone. J-Dub was emerging, all this kind of stuff. So smaller market teams who are in the finals definitely have value. But you just getting back to what David Stern was doing and just creating dynasties is not going to help the NBA. Like, cool people, three-peats and 3 titles in 7 years. Again, being a Spurs fan, like I don't care. I much rather have a different champion every single year, just like the MLB does, because that's how you create better viewership overall. Because now everybody gets a piece of the pie, not just one team.
Problem is that this is a concept that isn't even hard to understand. You see it in other sports. You mentioned the MLB. Who are the 2 teams people want to see in the Super Bowl the least? The Chiefs and the Patriots. Why? Because no one wants to see the same team win over and over and over and over and over again. It's not fun to watch. People weren't enjoying it when it was the Chiefs and Eagles those couple of years. People don't like it when it's the same teams that are going to the Super Bowl. It is boring. And it's the same thing with every other sport. I don't know why people have this idea that like just because you're seeing stars on a court and that's cool means that it's like peak basketball or peak football. It's not how that works. I want to see new stuff.
I'll give an example. When the Giants in the MLB went on one of those 3 World Series in a couple years, I actually I loved Tim Lincecum. I'm a Tim Lincecum Glazer, but I got fucking irritated year after year after year seeing them, and they were the only team for multiple years that made it within a 5-year stretch. And I hated the fucking Giants during my childhood because I'm like, this team can't fucking win every other fucking year, every odd number of year.
Look at the
Dodgers. Now the Dodgers, absolutely, it gets irritating. So I'm a big fan of parity, and the NBA fans who like dynasties and that kind of stuff, dog, get over yourself. We're in 2026. We need to get over that.
The era of dynasties was cool, and that was a thing that a lot of people liked back then. We are done with that era. That era's done and gone. It was cool. The Jordan Bulls, cool. Magic's Lakers, cool, bro. The Celtics with Bird, cool. People like seeing those like great teams that last for a long time. That's cool. Even like the Beatles, and they're the Heatles that you had, cool. But I don't think people want to see that anymore. People don't want to see like these like dynastic teams. They want to see different teams every year. That's
dynasties are for hockey. Leave it there.
Fair. I'm with that.
Because if those guys are going to work that fucking hard and be that good for that amount of time in a game, which it's impossible to stay at the top regardless of the talent you have, more power to them.
More power to you. I'm in agreement 100%. So that was kind of the politicking about the stuff and how you guys felt. I'm glad we were able to get through that. I did say that we're talking about just a couple games because it's been a short week, so because of All-Star break, but there are interesting things that I want to go through. The first thing, and the game was on yesterday, and I wanted to get your reactions for not necessarily the game, but like the totality of the meaning behind stuff. So the Celtics played the Lakers. We all know Boston versus LA. We were talking about, dynasty stuff. Obviously, that was a rivalry and it has been a rivalry for a long, long time. the NBA does a very shitty job now in trying to put to the forefront rivalries. And I know rivalries in basketball are, I think, more rare now than anything else, but there is some still like feelings behind these rivalries. Again, Boston and LA probably the best and greatest example that we can explain. But the Bulls and the Pistons, New York and Philly, New York and Boston, the Warriors and the Rockets and any other literally like the Texans
Many of
teams.
his teammates.
Yeah, literally. Like there are still rivalries, but does like how do you guys feel about NBA rivalries? Like, do they need to revitalize that?
I want to take this because this is so annoying. I love rivalries, and this is so weak. James Worthy talked about this. I think he put it really, really well. This game was a big game because, you've got a lot around it. Obviously, it's Lakers Celtics, but Pat Riley has his statue unveiled. This is supposed to be like a homecoming game for the Lakers, right? And especially given the fact you guys lost to Boston by 21 in early December. You've got, you have all the boys back on the court. You've got Luka, LeBron, AR. This is like the game for you guys to lock in, bro. This is the game for you guys to show that you're the Lakers. Like you need to show like you have some heart, and you just get smacked. Like you just get smacked around the court. It is boring. The way that James Worthy put it out, he said this game was not about stats. There was no heart. This is weak. This is the way I feel about it. There's no heart.
On to that point really quickly. Again, I'm a Spurs fan. I went to the Spurs and Lakers game a couple weeks ago. There was more Spurs fans in the fucking stands than Lakers fans. Like Lakers, this is what like comes down to like LA sports in general, but specifically about the Lakers. It's the most front-running team in fucking basketball. When they're doing good, you will hear nothing but Lakers glaze. But when they're not good, they get in that closet real deep in that fucking closet, and they don't say fucking shit. It's so annoying.
And here's the other thing that I thought was disgusting about how they performed. You have Pat Riley at this game. You have Worthy at this game. You have Kareem at this game. Magic at this game. They brought the idols of the Lakers, the guys that make this team who they are to this game. And you play like that? That's disgraceful. That's terrible. I mean, I understand this Lakers team, for whatever reason, 19 out of their 22 losses this season have come by double digits. Whenever they start to feel any adversity, they crawl into a hole and die. And it's insane that you decide in front of all of the greats of your franchise on Pat Riley's game where his statue gets unveiled to play like this. It's just weak.
The more concerning thing on the for the Lakers side of this stuff is that inevitably, like, I do think that they'll be in the playoffs. At worst, they could be a play-in team, but they're going to blow whoever they have in the play-in out the fucking water. This is what is the problem with the Lakers, is that obviously we know they're just a piss-poor defensive team. They don't want to go and rebound. They don't want to do the nitty-gritty stuff, and they're just riding Luka's coattails. They're riding Austin Reeves' coattails, and, like, it's just a flawed team. We all understand that. But when it comes to the rivalry to Boston, or why and again, this is not to shit on Jaylen Brown, but just uplift the team. Jaylen Brown was not the best player on the court yesterday. It was Peyton Pritchard, it was Nemes Keita, and like it's the fact that why Boston's so good and what I've been glazing like Boston as the team aspect is because they're better coached, they're winning the margins, they're like a top 3 offensive rate in offensive rebounds this year. They're being able to they're the slowest paced team, but they're getting to their spots. They don't turn the ball over. They're very, very, very efficient when it comes to half court sets and that kind of stuff. And that can translate in the playoffs. But Boston is just more compassionate about fucking basketball than the Lakers are. And that's why they have more titles. And there's arguments where their Boston totality as a franchise is just better ran, because since Boston's been a fucking team, once they started to win in the late 50s, early 60s, regardless of how you guys feel about it, since then, outside one decade in the 90s, which it requires extreme context because of Len Bias and Reggie Lewis, they've been successful in every single fucking decade that has been ever. Like, and Boston is so, even though, again, I hate Boston sports, but they've become compassionate about whatever team that they believe in. And this is why Boston is such a good team, is because Missoula is making them win in the margins. And I talked about this when I was talking about the Hornets a couple weeks ago, is that they win in the margins. Boston just does the nitty gritty stuff. They have the defenders, Jordan Walsh, great isolation defender. Nemes Keita, rising, being an offensive rebounding hound. Now they have Vucevic, a low post scorer who can stretch the floor a little bit. You have Peyton Pritchard to take the scoring load when Jaylen Brown doesn't have good scoring nights. Derek White being a defensive mastermind at the point guard position, giving you 1.5 steals and 1.5 blocks at the point guard, who's an offensive rebound hound as well. There's just a whole bunch of this where it just goes on and on.
This is the problem. It actually feels almost like a microcosm of how it actually is. No offense to anybody from LA. LA is a fake city. LA is a city where there's a bunch of like social networkers and people that are trying to, get up in the world, and so they go to LA. And that's what LA is. And Boston is a city that has a deep history. Boston is a city with people who love sports. And this is what this game was. It was the Lakers not putting in effort. It was the Lakers pretending to be on the court. And it was the Celtics with the heart. And the Celtics with the want and need to blow out their team they hate the most on their court on their night. That is what the Celtics wanted to do. They wanted to spoil Pat Riley's homecoming. That's what they wanted to do. They did it. And you mentioned, like, you talk about these guys. When James Worthy said it's disgraceful of the jersey, the way that they played, you know who I could tell wanted to play in their jersey? I could tell Peyton Pritchard was proud to wear a Celtics jersey. I could definitely tell that. I could tell that you mentioned Derek White. I could tell that he was proud to wear that jersey. Even Jaylen Brown, I get he didn't have a great night. He had 32 points on 28 shots, and I grant that. But you can't tell me he wasn't playing hard. At the very least, that's what you need to see from these guys. You need to see the effort. And it just was not there for the Lakers on a night that was supposed to be their night.
Yeah, it's getting back to the rivalry stuff. Like, why I was so happy that Silver and the NBA is trying to predicate the rivalry between San Antonio and OKC is because that was a legitimate rivalry in the late aughts and the early 2000s when KD and Russ and Harden became, the young core that wanted to go and win a championship, and you have an aging dynasty with Duncan, Manu, and Tony who've been there and done that, and we're just like, who are these young cats? And guess what? The young cats won a couple of those series decisively. They obviously lost against LeBron, but then the Spurs looked at them and said, oh, they're a legitimate threat. And they put belt to ass the very next time that they saw them in 2014 on that historic San Antonio Spurs run. And this is where, like, and they had their battles here and there out for a couple years after Tim Duncan left. But noticeably, like, I think the NBA is better when there are, like, dynamic rivalries in both the East and the West, and you can create storylines. And I understand where some of the NBA can come from, but I think because there's this laissez-faire mentality when it comes to LA, when it comes to certain players and that kind of stuff, I do understand why people get turned off by that. But when there's competitors like SGA, and when they won that one game against us this year, it's like, oh, this wasn't our Super Bowl. But he's yelling at Stephon Castle. He's yelling at De'Aaron Fox. That's the most emotional I've seen SGA, compared to the finals.
Bro, the Thunder should lean into that rivalry. When the Thunder see the Spurs on their schedule, especially after the ass-kicking they received from the Spurs this year, the Thunder should be there like, this is our Super Bowl. We're going to go beat San Antonio. We're at least going to try. Like, this is the problem. You need to have pride. You need to have pride for the uniform, bro. Every time that you get smacked around by a team, that means you circle them on your schedule and you say, not next time. Absolutely not. Not next time.
Yeah.
That should be the mentality. Not just going out there and getting, destroyed. Jules, I talked about this earlier this year, and this is why I wasn't big on the Thunder. When I watched that Shea interview, I think it was after the third loss to the Spurs, he looked dead. His shoulders were slumped. He was like, yeah, they're just a better team than us. It was sad. It was sad.
That's why I said what I said, because the immediate game after that interview, that's when SGA was yelling at Stephon Castle and De'Aaron Fox, and like when they beat us by like 20, is that was the most emotional I've seen SGA since he's been in the league. And that's, again, He won a championship last year. That was more emotional than he was at the fucking parade. Like SGA, there's some rent free shit in
it's
this.
because he's a competitor, and in his brain,
Yes.
it clicked. It finally clicked, and he was like, this is not going to happen. I refuse.
I know we're dominating the conversation. Justin,
Justin.
what are your feelings about like rivalries and stuff like that? I don't know how you feel, but this is how I feel as like I'm wanting to see competitors compete.
I just want to speak to the rivalry aspect of things. So, again, I'm going to keep taking it back to hockey because that's where I think the only sport that still has rivalries that are still like a thing. The hockey has this thing called the Original Six. It's the first 6 teams that were ever created. Chicago, Boston, just that's the way it rolls. You see Chicago and Detroit line up on a calendar, and they want to tear each other's fucking heads off.
Yes.
You see it, what just happened yesterday with the Olympics. Outside of that, you take it back to the 4 nations, U.S. versus Canada. There is something about playing for what's on the front of your sweater or front of your jersey that says a hell of a lot more about what's on the back. Shout out Herb Brooks for that one. But they showed up and off puck drop beat the dog shit out of Canada. 3 fights in the first 10 seconds of the game off of the original puck drop. That is a rivalry. Boston and the Lakers haven't been a rivalry since the 90s. No one talks about it. No one cares. No one nothing.
Yep.
You see in baseball, you still have the Subway Series rivalry between New York and New York. You still have the border battle between the Yankees and the Red Sox. You have all of these other sports where rivalries still fucking mean something. Hell, English football. Every single time that they play their rival, it's called a derby. It's Derby Week. It's Derby Week. Everyone gets hyped up for Derby Week. You see United playing against City.
Yeah, bro.
And these guys are ready. These fans are out here in body paint, ready for war.
Bro,
when they're not even doing anything.
Yeah, bro. As a Man City,
where is the heart? Where is the intensity? Where is the fight? Nobody, I'm telling you right now, there's not a single player in the NBA that you can tell me and I'll believe you that plays for the name on the front. Not a single one.
Right.
They all play for the name on the back and especially the name on the back's pocketbook. They don't give a fuck. I need somebody to come back, which is why, I'll tell you right, he don't give a fuck. He plays for France. He don't give not one fuck. Anyway, I need more malice at the palace, more jive at the hive, because it shows that these guys are actually playing for the guy next to him more than they actually are. We need to see some heart, some emotion, some anything out of any NBA player. Just one.
You know what I will say? I will give credit where credit's due. I think Halliburton plays for the Pacers. Halliburton is he's a guy that is super
Halliburton plays for his dad.
I think he plays for more. Even like with the Reggie Miller thing with the choke after the game, I think Halliburton's tapped into the Pacers. Like, I think he understands the history. I think he plays for the city. I think he's one of the only few. I think he's honestly the only one I can think of. Because we talked about Shea, right? Shea, that revenge game he had, that wasn't because of the Thunder. That was because of his own pride. He was like, hey, bro, listen.
That was his get back, not OKC's get back.
Yeah, he didn't care about getting get back.
But that's the thing. Thunder. If you look at the top stars in the league, Nikola Jokic doesn't even want to fucking play basketball. He wants to be fucking 5'11" and ride horses. You see Jason Tatum touted to be the next great thing. He fumbled that fucking bag real fucking hard. And he was doing it on probably the most prestigious franchise in the NBA. You look at all these guys in the last 10 years that are supposed to be their franchise piece. LeBron don't have a franchise to be a franchise for. Fuck him. He wants to team hop just as much as anybody else wants to. KD, no loyalty. LeBron, no loyalty. These guys aren't playing for what's on the front. They're playing for a bag. They're not. Well, they're playing for individual accolades. They're playing for individual recognition. Nobody plays for a team anymore. They play for themselves. That's what's annoying about the NBA now.
Not to glaze, but it is true. Those first Jordan years, a lot of people try to ignore. Yeah, they were terrible. They were not doing well. They were not making big runs. Jordan, he had every opportunity, probably if he wanted to just, hey, listen, that Celtics, give me a call. Michael Jordan didn't do that. I just feel like it's like it comes to a point where it feels it just feels sad. It's like no one really cares that much about like the history of their team, the legacy they leave behind in terms of their franchise. They just want to play because they want to make money and because they like having good individual stats. They like doing that. And that's like what they like.
And
You
that's
literally
nothing.
you had to change. This is just the last thing. You had to change. This thing makes me so mad. We had to make it so that your 3-point percentage didn't get hurt because of half-court heaves, because players weren't taking them because they didn't want to hurt their 3-point percentage. Are you joking? Is this where we're at?
And that's the thing. Like, think about the first dubbed super team, the Boston Celtics. 3 veterans basically going out on their shield, teaming up to stop LeBron James. To not only, it wasn't for the Celtics, it just happened there out of convenience. They were trying to save their own legacy to say that we competed against LeBron James. We competed against the greatest of all time, the second greatest of all time, however you evaluate LeBron James. They didn't do that for Boston. They won a championship there. It wasn't for Boston. No matter how much KG wants to say, Boston, this one's for you. As far as I'm concerned, the last person that gave a shit about the jersey they had on was Kevin Garnett in Minnesota. That's the last player I can remember that actually gave his all to a city like that. You can say Duncan's involved in that,
Duncan or Dirk,
but that's what I'm saying is these guys. Think about it though. Think about what you're talking about there. You're talking about 3 guys who are going to go down as recognized as the best or one of the best in their positions. These guys bought into what was there. They didn't do anything crazy to shake shit up. And it proved that when Garnett went back to finish his career. He's like, I want to finish in Minnesota. I want to be there. There is no heart in this game anymore when it comes to the name on the front. It's all about line in the pocket, the guy on the back.
I think Dirk is a great point, too. That's another guy that I think really did play for his city. I think Derrick Rose really did play for Chicago, and I think Chicagoans could feel that, right? Because he becomes a staple of the city. And that's what people want. They want people that actually play for the city. I mean, you mentioned hockey, and this, like, when the U.S. played Canada, you could tell none of the players cared individually. They could not have cared less. If these players literally just skated all game and did nothing except check people and that helped them win, they would do it in a heartbeat. They did not care at all about individual performances.
And that's the thing. Like I said, I don't want to keep taking it back to it, but it's so fresh in my mind. Jack Hughes' interview after the game. Right. He didn't talk about the game at all. He said, it's a great day to be an American. I'm proud of our boys. I'm proud of what we did, and USA is the greatest. He didn't give not one fuck about his medal goal.
Well, and the other thing is, he only mentioned
won for his country.
He only mentioned one player. It wasn't him. It was Hellebuyck, the goalie. He didn't care about what he didn't care about.
Like I said, there's no selflessness left in the game in the NBA. I mean, it's I'm gonna get mine, and that's what I hate about it. Nobody gives a shit about the guy next to him. Even if these guys are putting up 10, 15, 20 assists a game, do they give a shit that guy scored points? No. They care that they got a stat.
It feels like it's almost every league these days. Jules, I'm sorry, but it feels like it's almost every league these days. Like like even with the NFL, like with my own guys, man, when Terry held out and he was just waiting for more and more money, it broke my heart. Like I like he's our guy in Washington. I thought you were here because you loved us in the city, and I thought you were here because you were our franchise guy, not because you wanted us to pay you a huge bag. Like it does. It feels like in every sport almost that it's just no one cares about their team, and it sucks.
It's fuck you, pay me. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm with that. As for because I legally cannot talk about the other game because a certain franchise guy over here. We'll gloss over it. The game that happened today.
Just fucking talk about it. Just fucking
talk about it.
I want to talk about it. Yeah, cool. We can talk about how Jalen Green is the basketball terrorist that diffused his own bomb. That is.
Thank you though, because he did have a great fantasy game, so I do appreciate it.
He a basketball terrorist that diffused his own device. That is what happened. How do you shoot for 10 up until a game-winning shot in overtime? Shoot a running fader
double overtime.
absolutely bury it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Caleb Williams of the NBA.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Kobe Bryant of the 2020 century.
Literally. No, so for people who didn't watch, the Phoenix Suns played the Orlando Magic in a double OT game, and this was an extremely, extremely ugly, inefficient game. That finished, I believe it was 113 to 110, 112 or something like that. And why this was such a like interesting and actually a really good watch the post All-Star break is that Brooks unfortunately broke his hand. And now he's out, unfortunately, for a month to 6 weeks.
They said 4 to 6 weeks.
And Justin and I have been very vouching about the same kind of thing when it comes to Miles Bridges. Dylan Brooks is the most valuable, and you could argue probably the best person on the Suns because of what Booker is having to go through this season. And Booker has been very inconsistent, and I think he missed some time in this game too. So they were really just leaning on the guy who they traded for KD, Jalen Green. And Jalen Green, basically fresh off injury, is I believe played his 8th game this year. And he still looks like the Jalen Green of before. He's still like very immature with his shot diet, but he saved the final shot against a struggling Magic team. I think Desmond Bane had a really good game. Obviously, Paulo's doing Paulo stuff. But the fact that this was competitive, and I guess my question to you, Justin, is again, I know Jalen Green does have his deficiencies. I know he's the basketball T word. I know you don't like him, but I'm really trying to be optimistic. Do you think in a year's time, if he can actually be with Devin Booker, you don't think he can develop at all?
No.
Why is that?
No.
Why?
Because what are we talking about here? You're talking about just giving a guy who can't shoot an ungodly amount of shots a game to let him shoot. He can go to a shooting coach and he still won't be able to shoot because Jalen Green is Jalen Green. Jalen Green knows better. He's known better since high school. Jalen Green is uncoachable. Jalen Green is unapproachable. Jalen Green is not a franchise player. He's not a help to a team. He's not nothing. He barely plays defense. Like you said, his shot diet's atrocious. He's not no. It doesn't matter. Devin Booker could take this guy by the hand. They could have Mussolini back under control, and Jalen Green still couldn't fucking figure shit out. I'm telling you right now, you could put this guy on the Oklahoma City Thunder and he wouldn't figure it out. He's not coachable. He's not good. He is a highlight merchant. And like you said, for this game to even be close, even with Booker out for the game, no. We gave up, at this point now, looking at the trade, we traded Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, DeAndre Ayton, a fuck ton of draft picks, and now Kevin Durant on top of it for Jalen Green. Are you fucking kidding me? Is this shit a joke? Not our front office shouldn't be fired. They should be taken out back and put down like a bad horse. I'm over it. This is terrible. You want to talk about running a franchise into the ground? Whoever has been in charge of our franchise for the last 5 years has done a pretty good fucking job at it. Even though we made a finals appearance, whoever has been in charge of our franchise has done a really good job of trying to run it into the ground. God, I wish Sophie Cunningham's fucking arguments weren't baseless before. I wish that man would have been fired. Holy hell.
So,
listen, maybe you can make him like a professional clutch shooter. You just throw him in there, end of games, and say, full send.
Yeah, you know what? We can make him a G League player. Maybe you can go back to college.
You might be able to go back to college, actually. That's a good point. Maybe he can.
I wanted to let Justin kind of rant about that. I haven't heard his feelings about his team.
He's fucking dog shit. I've said it since the day we traded for him. I was so mad about the Dylan Brooks side of things. not realizing, actually, we do kind of need a two-way-ish kind of forward that actually brings intensity to our soft-ass team that can actually kind of do his job on defense. And if the offense comes, the offense comes. The offense came. The defense is there. The heart is there. We don't have the right pieces. I mean, Booker and Green have been injured all year. It's been on and off for them. Now you got him out, so we're going to be banking on Grayson Allen, Colin Gillespie, and Mark Williams to carry our team. If we win 4 games in the next 6 weeks, I'll be shocked. We just got belted by fucking Portland tonight.
Sorry. Not to rehash old wounds. Sorry. As for the other the other game I want to talk about that literally just ended a couple hours ago. What could, I'm not saying it can, what could be a finals preview between Detroit and San Antonio. And if you guys watched this game, I watched this game, this was a disgusting, sluggish, physical bout between the two. And their
hangovers real bad.
These two teams are defensively stout. They have great defenses. You have Wemby and Stephon Castle on one side. You have Jalen Duren and Oscar Thompson on the other. And San Antonio eventually won because the guy that I fucking hate, Devin Vassell, had a great game. He shot well from 3. He shot well from the field. They weren't closing out on him, and ultimately, the two best players on each team, at least offensively wise, didn't look great. Victor Wembanyama, yes, he had 21 and 17, but a lot of them were offensive rebounds that were incredibly valuable because the Pistons can win in the margins as well. But the bigger story I think that's coming out of this is that Cade Cunningham has been very inconsistent. I've been a very big Cade guy this year, and I understand he has flaws. But this is some of the concerns that people were talking about when Cade gets in the playoff setting and the defenses start to stiffen up. Obviously, they're not going to play the fucking Spurs unless they come out of the East and the Spurs come out of the West. But if the teams start to stifle up and revolve around him and make him into a scorer, he's going like he did tonight. He's going 5 of 26. He's going 3 of 24. There are games where he can give you 16 points and 10 assists, but it'll be on 6 turnovers. My question is are we going to be concerned about Detroit going down the stretch? Because this week alone, they played San Antonio, they're playing OKC, they're playing Cleveland, they're playing a lot of these really good defensive teams, and Cade's going to have to step up these next couple games.
Well, Cade's also going to have to play really good defense against all of those teams as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. I'm not a big Cade guy. I don't like the fact that he's very okay. He's very good, but the problem is when he's inconsistent. It's not like it's a kind of bad game where he goes 5 of 15 or something, and it's just a bad shooting performance. 5 of 26, and this isn't even the worst performance he's put up. It feels like whenever he's bad, he's absolutely horrendous, and I don't know if that works in a playoff setting because I just don't know if you can handle that many of those games. I don't even know if it'll happen often, but with Cade, let's say you have 2 of those, or in a series, even 1 can be enough. I just don't know if I trust that. But I mean, on the Spurs, on the other hand, you got De'Aaron Fox going 4 of 17. So that's not ideal either. Him and Cade went a combined 9 of 43. So I mean, I don't even know as far as that's concerned. I will say, shout out to you, Jules, because this Durant jump that you saw pretty early is definitely panning out. I mean, that guy is cooking. 25. I mean, yeah, he went 25 and 14. He was the Pistons boards this game for sure. Him and Holland were their main board guys. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Cade Cunningham is just, I don't know, man. He's a little inconsistent for me. I just don't really trust it. What I do like, as far as the Spurs are concerned, and this is why I think they might make a deep run, is You've got Castle with 16. You have De'Aaron with 10, albeit on terrible shooting, but he did. You have Champagne with 17. You've got Vassell with 28. Wemby with 21. Even Johnson off the bench gives you 9. The Spurs are deep. Like, they have guys that can give you 10-plus points, and they've got quite a few guys that can do it. And I think this game is a pretty good example about that. And like you said, the Pistons are right now, I think, still the best team in the Eastern Conference in terms of standings. And so that's a team that it could be, you're right, a potential finals matchup. It's possible. So, to play like this where all your guys are contributing and putting in points, that's what you want to see. But like you said, and you said this earlier in the year, De'Aaron Fox is also inconsistent. And that's something that you might have to worry about a little bit. Maybe if you're the coach, maybe you're like, hey, you might want to slow down your shot diet just a little bit, take a few less shots, so that you don't get too cold too quick. But yeah.
Justin?
Cade Cunningham is never Cade Cunningham. He's either Jalen Green or Anthony Edwards. There is no in between. He really is. He'll either have a horrible shot diet on good efficiency or a horrible shot diet on bad efficiency. He doesn't ever have a steady diet. He never takes the right amount of shots in a game. He always thinks that he has to do it himself. I still firmly believe that he will be an MVP in the next 5 years. But in those next 5 years, he needs some growth. And with the team around him now, they have a great team. It's just this team isn't clicking at full. So it's hard to want to be a fan of the Pistons and want them to succeed, but they have the talent to do it. It's just that no one's ever clicking at the same time. Like you said,
Yeah.
Jalen goes crazy, nobody else does. Tobias goes crazy, nobody else does. Cade goes crazy, nobody else does. It's like you guys can't take nights off. You guys have to play a combined game. You have to play, again, we're going back to this rivalry. You have to play for this, not this.
Well, and to add to that just real quick, like you mentioned, Amen, he has 8 points. You mentioned Tobias Harris, he has 4, but I don't expect much from Tobias Harris. I can't believe Tobias Harris is still.
Sorry.
I know what he meant.
Sorry, my fault. Did I say Amen?
Yeah, you said Amen. Yeah,
my fault.
Yeah, you're good.
But yeah. You mentioned Tobias. He had 4, but I don't expect much because he is a basketball terrorist and has been his entire career, so I don't even know why he's still on a roster. But that's neither here nor there.
He was their best player of the week leading into the All-Star break. But
yeah, well, and I get it. But that's the thing. That's why he gets paid, because he has these like little stretches. He's like Trevor
Because
Lawrence.
he does the veteran thing. When all the young guys around him suck, he picks it up and does the work. But when they are doing well, he sits back and lets them do their thing.
Tobias Harris equals Trevor.
Crazy.
Tobias Harris is the Trevor Lawrence of the NBA. But anyways,
is he in a contract here?
That's not what.
Ain't no contract here. Ain't no contract here.
Tobias Harris is president of the NBA.
Just as far as this is concerned, I really think it is just the consistency problem, because if you have games like this, especially shooting games like this, I mean, if you go down the whole Pistons lineup, you've got Robinson giving you 5 of 15. It's sloppy. It's bad.
Duncan Robinson, hater number 1, right here, dog. Right fucking here. The fact, okay, for you fucking Heat fans, really quick, for you fucking Heat fans that overvalue the fucking role players on your team for fucking years, they're not good. You got one good role player that should be getting fucking minutes. That's Khalil fucking Ware. You hit one good role player in the past 6 years. Shut the fuck up. Duncan Robinson is fake.
Well, and the funny thing is, Khalil Ware shouldn't even be a role player. It should be a starting guy, because Khalil Ware is the best.
Mean. No, so this is what I'm in agreement with everything that is said. I do think, just to bring it back, I do think that Cade is one of the rare ones, in my opinion, that does play for the front of his jersey, because that interview that he said, we're not a fucking, was it a 20 losing streak game team, whenever that was last year, we're way better than this, and obviously he's had that turnaround. I do think he plays for this, me personally, but people can disagree. My thing is with Cade, and I've been a Cade believer, is because I've traditionally always liked the guy with a high volume shot diet who can also dish out, 10 assists. But my thing is, and this always has been in watching a lot of Pistons games this year, is that he forces a lot of these downhill passes into tight coverage that in today's NBA with rotations like how they are with the athletes that you have, you gotta put some zip on that ball, and he's not doing that. He's making the right read, but it's just a lot of these like dumb kind of like, why are you throwing that kind of pass kind of turnovers? And with Cade's like shooting form, what people shit on him the most is his rim efficiency and his 3-point efficiency, because he's not good at the rim and he's not good from three, but he's really, really good from the mid-range when he's in the PNR and he's being able to shoot those 15 to 17-foot like shot fades in his diet. He's been highly efficient this year. But at the rim, he gets stuffed more than anybody else, and from three, he's like a bottom percentile standstill 3-point shooter. And as a catch-and-shoot guy, he sucks as well. So if Cade is going to be able to translate, let me finish before I go. If Cade is going to be able to translate, what's going to need to happen is not necessarily him shooting better from three, because at this point in the season, you're not going to have that big of a jump. But you need to at least become a really good 2-level scorer, like what Tyrese Halliburton was, where Tyrese was being able to shoot volume threes on high efficiency and get into the mid-range, and people are now coming up because they thought that Tyrese was a really good mid-range shooter. He took like 2 or 3 mid-range shots throughout that whole playoff run run last year. He was just shooting fucking like 10 or 11 threes during that playoff run and doing it on a high clip. So it was like almost fake spacing, quote unquote, and that's not necessarily what I mean. But if Cade is being able to get downhill and generate, double teams off the weak side corners and the tags and all this kind of stuff, he needs to be able to get to that short side corner really quickly and make sure, Duncan Robinson, who is a good corner 3-point shooter, is being able to hit those shots and make those right reads. Because when the defenses is stifling, like San Antonio or OKC or people in the East, like maybe even like Boston's starting to get there defensively, or like the Cavs, they're not going to let you be able to get away with all the bullshit you've been getting away with. So, Cade, again, I love you. Again, you guys seen me get that jersey, but Cade, please step it up, because I think he can be an MVP, but if this is what he is now, he's got to progress a lot more in the near future.
Well, and listen, Cade, as far as it's concerned, like, you need, Kobe Bryant was the best player in the league for 10 years, and you need to aspire you need to aspire to be as good as Kobe Bryant was in his 10-year reign of terror in the league. So I just think you should try to be more like Kobe, and the shot chucking is already working. You need to pass the ball a little less and shoot a little more, and you'll be just like him.
Unserious basketball talk. Fuck that dude. Fuck that dude.
I don't know.
That's diabolical.
I don't know.
That's diabolical.
I don't know. I'm just saying, bro. Maybe you should try to be Kobe.
I think the Pistons, like, comparing them, like, this is a very unfair comparison, because people try to do this with Cade all the time. Is they try to compare them to that OKC Thunder last year, because defensively, like, Detroit again is fantastic, but then they belittle Cade because they're like, oh well, he's not SGA. Yeah, no shit, he's not SGA. He's Cade fucking Cunningham. You know what I mean? Let him be him, and he's completely different. Like, Detroit, I've been on record saying that I think that they can make the Eastern Conference Finals. I think they really can, but it's going to be heavily dependent on who they play in the second round. Because if they are lucky and they can somehow get a Toronto or a Philly or, I don't know, maybe a Boston, because they've had a winning record against Boston, I think that they can make the Eastern Conference Finals. I truly can. But if they see anybody else, if they see the Cavs, if they see I always forget. I'm sorry, whoever the third seed is. No, I don't. The Knicks. I'm sorry. Yeah, they were built last year to build the Knicks, and they stifled on it. If they go off of last year and build off of what they did, maybe they can. Because the inconsistencies defensively from the Knicks, but if Cade's not being able to translate against OG and McHale, like, they completely hounded him last year. I don't know how he'll be able to handle that pressure this year. I don't know. So we'll wait and see. Again, shout out to San Antonio. I think you're now on a 9-game win streak. I think that's great. Hopefully you guys can continue to go through the next couple months, but we'll wait and see on that. But that's all that I have on that. Justin, do you have any games for us?
Yeah, what you got?
Yeah, I have 2 games for us, 2 pick 3 cut 5s. One of them's a little more serious than the other is, but
Okay.
it's just because a certain somebody on this podcast likes to run his mouth. So I love.
Is it best players of the 2000s by any chance?
No,
because if Kobe's on that list.
No, it's actually it's the best of retrospect music quotes.
Oh, word? Oh, word? Oh yeah, Retro, you're not taking part of this whatsoever. I want to do this solo. I want to hear this shit.
No, I'm definitely taking part in this.
No,
They're my quotes out of my mouth.
All right. So, Jules.
Yeah.
The first one up is Jaylen Brown is better than Jason Tatum.
Oh yeah, lock it in. Lock it in. That's a key.
Yeah.
That's a terrible quote. That's a terrible quote.
Not only is it a classic, it's true.
Okay.
Thank you.
The Bulls are going to win the East.
Okay. Okay. All right. God forbid a man.
I really have to cut 5, Justin.
Yeah, you do.
Fuck. Oh, I don't know how I can't keep this.
This was just for Retro spewing off at the mouth to start the podcast. I'm like, can I come up with 8 of these? And I was like, I came up with a lot more than 8.
I expect you to do this with him. To be clear.
No, we only do this.
This is a very, very hard cut because this was hilarious.
Listen, God forbid I have hope, okay?
Josh Giddey is the best guard in the East.
I did not say Josh Giddey is the best guard in the East. What?
I'm sorry, you never said that?
No, I said he was a top 5 guard in the East, which he is. Never said he was the best guard in the East. Donovan Mitchell solos.
Anyway. Jules, you're keeping that one, okay? Next up is
fake quote. So you're keeping a fake quote right
now. It's not a fake quote.
You will not find a video of me saying he's the best guard in the East.
Don't have to have a video if I was there for the conversation.
That's what I thought. Move on.
Jaden Daniels is a top 5 quarterback.
Oh, I don't mind that.
Oh.
Cut.
Because he knows it's true. That's why he's cutting.
Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback in his draft.
True. You're gonna have to cut that one. You have to cut that one. If you keep that, you're making me look real good because you already kept the Jaylen Brown one.
I'm cutting that one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I thought we were keeping the most outlandish ones, which I think is what Jules is doing.
Yeah, that is what he's doing.
The next one is my favorite. I don't lie.
True. Oh, fuck.
I am a truth teller.
It's really dependent. That I only have one more after this, right?
You only have one more keep. Yep.
Dog. I really want this next quote to be "I am never wrong," and I want that to be that so fucking bad. You have
2 more after this.
Oh, 2 more? Then this is a comfortable cut. This is a comfortable cut.
Okay. You can't argue with my logic.
True. By the way. Cut that one. Go ahead, Jules.
Oh my god.
Go ahead, Jules.
Oh my god. Fuck. This is like a retro staple.
Cut it, Jules.
Yeah, cut it. I gotta cut this? I'm gonna cut this. Okay, I'm gonna cut this.
It is a staple, though.
This is a staple.
You cut the Bulls are going to win the East. You cut Jaden Daniels is a top 5 quarterback. You cut Jaden as the best in his draft class. You cut I don't lie. You can't argue with my logic. To keep Jaylen Brown is better than Jason Tatum. Josh Giddey is the best guard in the East, and I'm never wrong.
Yes. I knew this. Yes.
Out of all of those, disregarding the fact that Giddey is fake, the only 2 that look bad are the I never lie. Or the I never lie and the I'm never wrong. Both of those are embellished for my personality, but yeah.
I'm just saying that this is why Retro is the mascot of We Don't Know Ball because he's easily the most memeable person out of us 3.
Hey, listen, I put everything on the line, okay? I put everything on the line.
Just to be
You
wrong.
literally came up on my live
be
and
wrong.
bitched at Glore for an hour about Nikola Vucevic in 2026. You are not real, bro. You are not real.
Hey,
right.
you know what I call that, Jules? A content machine.
Back to basketball. Since you guys liked it so much last week.
That was actually a good Keep 3 Cup 5, by the way. That was
2010's hypothetical duos.
good. Oh, yeah, bet.
First one up.
Okay.
First one up, Nash and Blake Griffin.
I mean, that would have just been fun. That would have just, but I feel like it's like just the worst version of CP3 and Blake Griffin. No,
I don't know if that's the worst version. I think that's a little bit crazy. I think they're probably on par with each other.
well, no, Jules. I mean, like very slightly. I mean
that's fair. I do want to keep this. I do want to keep this.
Why do you want to keep this?
Because like, even Nash, like, oh, you said, well, no, it's 20. Like Nash has got like 2 years in the 2010s.
This is 2010s.
This is dominated by, this is like dominated by Blake. So it's like it's not even his best years. I guess you can cut. I guess you can cut. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Okay. Rajon Rondo and DeAndre Jordan.
What?
No, literally no spacing at all. Jesus fucking Christ. Hey, Rondo and DeAndre Jordan challenge fucking impossible free throw, dog. Like, hit a free throw challenge. It's just fucking atrocious. Absolutely not.
What was going through your mind when you did Rondo and DeAndre Jordan?
Exactly.
Hey, respect DeAndre Jordan, all NBA first team, please. Thank you.
Exactly what just happened. I had to throw one fucked up one in there.
That is absolutely foul.
Yep.
Hey, you know what though? Shout out the turtle Rajon Rondo. He was good at defense.
All right.
Jesus.
This one I'm calling the Aura pair.
Oh.
Okay.
John Wall and KG.
That is your affair. I would actually pay good money to see John Wall.
Bro, okay, long mid-range shots all day fucking long. That defense is going to be insane, but they're just taking nothing but middies. The pick and fade is going to be just a 20-foot jump shot.
Hey, John Wall shattering the rim, okay? Listen, me personally, this is a key.
I want to keep this, but this is such like a disgusting pair. It's not.
Yeah,
it's 2010s KG. It's 2010s KG.
These are the MIDI magicians.
The thing is, we're already 3 people. This is our third one now. So I feel like if we cut this, we're kind of taking a lot of chances.
I want to take the chance. This is fucking. This is 2010s KG, bro. Like I can't. This is post me, bro.
John Wall, I love you, King.
Yeah, John Wall's great. I love it.
Kyle Lowry and Rudy Gobert.
What, dog? What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? What did I just hear, bro? Oh my god. Dog, I can't this might be the first clean sweep of cuts we've ever had in my life. Like I was cool with Nash and Blake and I got convinced out of it. This is disgusting.
Yeah, I think we should have kept the KG now because oh my god.
All right. You have one cut left.
Jesus fucking Christ. Kyle Lowry and Rudy.
Next up is Dame and Powell.
Oh,
yes, keep. Yes, that is fantastic. I love that.
Also,
Thank you for redeeming yourself.
The spacing on that duo is really good.
Yeah, Pau Gasol make a couple All NBA teams in the 2010s, like, and great rebounder. Like that is, I think that's a great duo.
All right, this one I'm calling. These are the this is the low brain cell brothers.
Oh.
Jimmy Butler and Dwight Howard.
Oh.
I mean, the thing is, the hustle there is amazing. Like, the defense is going to be good. Like, I feel like
you got to remember they're going to have people around them to complement them, but these are the duo.
And that's the thing. I feel like Jimmy Butler and Dwight are.
Who the fuck is going to compliment Jimmy and Dwight? That is such a weird duo. I see where you're coming from. Bro.
Kyle Korver.
Kyle Korver. Fuck.
Brian
Shane
Scalabrine.
Battier.
Mike Conley.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
2010
Snow.
Mike Conley.
Eric Snow
Yeah,
for sure is.
bro, fuck. This is disgusting. I don't even love this, but I feel like we're forced to have to keep this
How many
bullshit,
cuts
bro.
do we have after
One
this?
cut.
Literally, this is the last one.
With 2 names to hear.
I feel like we. Okay, so if we keep this, do we have any keeps left?
Yeah.
So
You have one cut left.
Okay. I feel like we keep this.
This is the most forced cape I've ever. Like, this is fucking
I
gross.
don't even hate it because I
fucking loathe it.
I love
loathe it.
big men.
I put
defenders.
this one in here specifically because I knew it would split you two the hardest.
I'm just a big. I'm a big like rim protector guy. Those guys are fun.
All right. This is a past and present Dallas Mavericks combination.
Oh.
Kyrie Irving and Dirk.
I mean, that would be nasty. With the 2010s Kyrie, that's nasty. I mean, like, the spacing's there though.
Well, Dirk is like. This is what I want to say about Dirk. People think Dirk is like this like fantastic 3-point shooter. He's almost like Larry Bird. Like, Dirk is way more valuable in like that mid post to like high post area than he is from like shooting.
Dirk
threes.
is valuable
like,
from 7 to 19 feet.
When I think of Dirk, I don't even think of the threes. I think of like the midi fade, like the Dirk post fade. Like that's like his thing.
Yeah, and I just wanted to like say that I know that you do, but a lot of people just equivalent, oh, Dirk just shoots volume threes.
I can't wait to do 2000s next week because I'm gonna be so nasty with it.
So here's the question, Jules. This is a really good one. Do we keep this and take and then just cut the last one, or do we take a risk?
It's a very like unique pairing because I know I don't want to spend all day on this, but like they're two like really good isolation scorers. Like Dirk. I think when we talk about like Melo scoring in the phone booth, Dirk did that way better, and I think than Carmelo Anthony because of his bump midi fade and him getting to the baseline shooting like the fadeaway shot and all this kind of stuff. I think he had way more of a bag of triple step than Melo did. That's a hot take. I don't care what anybody feels. Kyrie obviously has been great in isolation for like 10 plus years. I do understand. I don't know if they complement each other though, because like. Kyrie isn't like a fantastic cutter. He spaces the floor, but he's valued in isolation. Same thing with like Dirk. So for the scoring aspect, yes. For defense, oh god, this is like the worst defensive like pairing ever.
We'll just complement them with a bunch of 3-and-D guys. It'll be fun.
I would say
to back them up.
Retro, do you want to keep us?
I would.
I will. Okay, I'll get baited and I'll say keep.
Yeah, I mean at this point it's like we've already had to go through Kyle Lowry and Rudy Gobert, so I don't even know what we're doing at this
fucking diabolical, Justin. What the fuck is wrong with you? Jesus Christ.
DeAndre Jordan and
Rajon Rondo.
Rajon Rondo, yeah.
Fuck me, dude. Okay, what's the
you kept Damon Powell, you kept Jimmy Butler and Dwight, you kept Kyrie and Dirk to cut Nash and Blake, Rondo and DeAndre, John Wall and KG, Kyle Lowry and Rudy Gobert, and you cut Kobe Bryant and Anthony Davis.
Oh.
Fuck you, Kyrie.
Oh.
Fuck you, Kyrie.
We cut a guy that was the best player in the NBA for like 12 years straight. That is crazy.
Unbelievable. I can't believe we've done this. I can't believe we've done this.
And we cut prime unibrow Anthony Davis, man.
Hey, mind you, Anthony Davis was the best player in one of those years as well. He was the best player in 2020, mind you.
That's true.
Yep, that is true. Known fact, Anthony Davis, best player in the league, absolutely. Yeah. So Justin, if you mind giving us a sports fact of the day, good sir.
Sure.
Besides the fact that Kobe Bryant was the best player in 12 years in the league. Besides that.
Yeah. Besides that.
besides the fact that we are looking for a third co-host. It is
yeah, to replace Justin. Anyway, continue.
Wow.
again the value you bring to this podcast, besides being the punching bag.
I'm the mascot. Now continue.
That means we need two duos to fucking never mind.
Now
Anyway,
continue.
we need a duo to carry the mascot, I guess. All right. So, time of recording, February 23rd, taking it back to 1968. Jules?
1968. In February.
Retro sure as hell won't know.
No.
Is this a Wilt stuff?
What do you think?
And you wouldn't have known until you found out just now, by the way.
I mean, it's the 60s, so this is when Wilt obviously was at his best. So, Wilt's a 50 rebound game?
The first player to record 25,000 points in the NBA.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I know he hit 30K in one of our other sports facts that you brought up a couple weeks ago, correct? Yeah.
Yep. Well,
Greatest
considering that the only other stuff on here, but hey, you know what? We can hold on. Let me give some recognition to our silver medalists real quick. Hold on. February 23rd, 2014, Canada wins the Olympic ice hockey double with a 3-0 victory over Sweden in the men's gold medal game. First team to finish the tournament undefeated since 1984.
Did they play? Did they play this year?
Did they play this year? Oh, hold on. Let me. I'll let you know if they played this year real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, can you tell me?
Glaze. Oh my god.
I kind of forgot. I didn't remember.
The people who can't hear, Freebird is being blasted right now. Hopefully we don't get copyrighted from this.
Yeah.
That's are fucking dumb, bro.
And that is the We Don't Know Ball podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen,
Should
this
we
has
get
been the We
Freebird
Don't
as
Know
our
Ball
outro?
podcast. We will be fueled by Canadian tears and Freebird for the next 4 years.
With that, guys, please sub to us, share, like, comment, and subscribe. We finally are able to make clips on our TikTok page. Follow us on TikTok, and let us know if we don't know ball. That this has been Jules, Justin, and Retro. We'll catch you guys next week.
It's ice football now.